Yo, 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 what is up, everybody? Welcome to the Payoff Pitch presented by Fantasy Phenom. I'm Kyle, that's Theo, and that's Mike. Everybody,
What's going on?
we're back. Breaking down tomorrow's 12 games and a little recap of tonight, man. So, we didn't have a 4 home run game. Nobody broke the slate. But, some of those calls we made in that lock show today went off.
Very successful night, man.
Kyle Schwarber, 2,600 on FanDuel, 37 points. Amazing play. Cubs and Arizona stack is doing 100% work for me. We talked about Matt Carpenter. I mean, that was a chalk stack. I'm not going to say we take credit for that. Everyone should have been on that. But, what do you always say, Theo?
Play the obvious plays.
Yep. But Schwarber...
Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. I called El Shebler. That's Scott Shebler in Spanish.
Scotty Shebs.
Scotty Shebs.
As I call him.
Josh, I told you no Greinke. God damn it.
Yeah, so this was a weird slate, guys. I mean, you had a 12-game slate today where the highest scoring pitchers were Alex Meyer, Buck Farmer. You had Darvish coming in third, CC, and Jacob Faria, who wasn't even eligible on DraftKings. So Darvish was really the only guy that finished in the top 5 that was considered a high-priced pitcher. We always say you got to pay for pitching, and I still believe it, but there are going to be slates like this where you do have guys that are below mid-tier.
Yeah. I think
doing work.
I think, and I don't have exact numbers to back this up, but I'd say about 70% of the time paying up for pitching works.
Yeah, I think I've seen a stat where majority of winning lineups, a third of your salary is spent on pitching.
Yeah.
So that makes sense to me. I think the surprise of the day was Atlanta, 14 runs today in that ballpark.
And you tried to say
didn't expect that.
Eichhoff was like Nola.
No, I was just pointing out. I always value recent performance, man. I think that's important in DFS, no matter what sport
Even though
you're
it's
playing.
another guy.
Yeah. No, I mean, hitters are hitting. You always got to look at what they've been doing recently.
No,
overall,
I'm with you, man. We've been testing out this strategy of recent performance over 3 games. So we're looking at team runs over a 3-game span, and the data told us today to play the Cubs, the Rangers, which didn't work, the Rockies, which did work. It told us to play the Cincinnati Reds, which I guess worked. I mean, 6 runs is not bad. It didn't tell us to play Atlanta. Seattle. Mike Zunino again, Theo.
Well, I think it had Atlanta as the safest play.
Did it? Let me see. I'm going to look right now. The safest play was actually Washington. They've been the most consistent with relative to their runs over the last 3 games, and then 17. But obviously, you got to take into account the fact that they played Kershaw today. The second was Arizona, and that worked out really well. Arizona's been doing well over the last 3 games, and I guarantee you they're probably going to be in the top 3 on this list tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely. You guys got to look at recent performance when guys are streaking again. DraftKings is very dynamic pricing, so you try to buy low on people that you think are about to break out, and sell high on people that have been in a hot streak and are tending to cool off. So definitely an important part of baseball DFS.
Facts.
Deadass.
All right, so we got a 3-game early on FanDuel and a 4-game early on DraftKings.
Yeah, that's correct.
Starting with St. Louis and Cincinnati. Scott Feldman and Mike Leake. Mike Leake actually pitched really well last time besides that grand slam. We were just talking about that before the show. His box score doesn't look as good because of that 4 runs on the 1 swing of the bat, but up to that point, 1 run allowed, and I believe that was in the 7th or 8th inning?
Yeah, he had a 3-1 lead going to the 7th inning, and then he got into some trouble. He had 2 outs on Kyle Schwarber and gave up that grand slam. So you're looking at it, it looks like 6 2/3 with 6 hits, 5 earned. Probably one of his worst performances as far as fantasy points of the year. But he did pitch well, and he has been kind of a safer cash type play. And on a mini slate, I could see it here in Cincinnati.
Yo, Kyle Schwarber, if he stays in that 9 hole, that wraparound potential for the Cubs is going to be legit AF. Because I can't imagine that Schwarber being in the 9 hole is ever going to get to the 4K range. I just don't see how FanDuel, I'm sure they have algorithms, or DraftKings. Well, DraftKings he'll get there because of pricing difference. But I just don't see how you could put a 9 hitter at 4K. I mean, I could be wrong, but if he stays in that 9 hole, God, versus a righty, it's going to be so enticing every time he plays.
If he has another good game yesterday, he's going to be up there. I mean, he was up high 4s almost the entire month of April.
Yeah, he's 2-6 tomorrow again.
Yeah. So, I mean, we talked about it. Guys that are hot, buying low, I think definite candidate before his price jumps up, especially on DraftKings, like I said, with the people that they obviously value recent performance if you look at their pricing.
Facts. All right, where are you looking at in this game? Theo, I'll start with you. Where are you looking at?
I'm going to go St. Louis side. Same stack as today, but if Fowler plays, I love Fowler too. I want to see where they put Pham, though.
Yeah, I'd imagine probably back at 6. They'll probably have...
I think it would be dope if it was Fowler and then Pham and then move Piscotty down.
Where would you put Piscotty?
I don't know.
Maybe put Piscotty in 3rd, Carpenter 4th. I think that would be a better lineup for them.
And then Gorko 5th?
Instead of batting Pham 8th.
Well,
yeah.
No, they'll bat Pham. I think if they bat, or if Pham plays, they'll bat 6th.
No, I'm not saying that's what they will do. I think that's what they should do.
Oh, gotcha, okay.
Yeah, obviously facing the lefty, they switched it up today.
Lefty, no.
I don't know, but
they played Bronco.
Well, I know that. Okay, well, either way, they switched it up today, and I don't know that if they switched it up again, man. I don't know that they moved Carpenter to lead off like just one time to see how it goes. Obviously, it worked well today. Hit a home run. Piscotty, I don't think you move him out of the 3 hole. He's on a hot streak. Another extra base hit today. And then Votto hit a homer today. I think you can go back there. I mean, I don't mind some plays in this game. I just don't see myself stacking. I mean, I guess on a 4-game slate you kind of have to. And if I would prefer Piscotty, Yorko, and then whoever's in front of them.
Well, think of it. So we'll break it down FanDuel and DraftKings. So on FanDuel, your pitchers to attack, your choices are Matt Garza, Johnny Cueto, Michael Fulmer, J.C. Ramirez, Scott Feldman, and Mike Leake. I would say J.C. Ramirez, Matt Garza, and Scott Feldman are probably the 3 guys I would attack. And then on DraftKings, add in Clayton Richard and Patrick Corbin. And that adds a whole nother element because Patrick Corbin is terrible, but the Padres are also bad. So which direction do you go there? And then Clayton Richard hasn't been good at all, and Arizona's been hot. But they have not hit lefties nearly as well as they hit righties this year. So that is going to be interesting.
Also, I have Paolo Espino making his second start for the Brewers, not Garza.
Really?
Yeah, they say he's going to face off with Cueto.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. FanDuel had it wrong when I downloaded the sheets. I shall change.
That last game definitely changes things up on this slate for sure. Those 2 lefties in Arizona, I agree. But I can go back to St. Louis. I mean, they've had a nice little series here in Cincy. So
I wouldn't be surprised if Mike Leake got touched up, though. Cincinnati's super hot against righties.
Cincinnati's one of the hottest teams in the league right now over the last 3, 4, or 5 days.
Mm-hmm. Does it bother you? I mean, the last time the League played Cincinnati, he went. He had an okay game. He had a quality start at least. 6 innings, 1 run. Did give up 8 hits, so maybe he got a little lucky.
Yeah,
Was that in St. Louis or in Cincinnati?
St. Louis.
yeah. I don't want to pitch league tomorrow. That's for sure. But I guess on DraftKings, actually no. On DraftKings, I find a way to try and get probably Fulmer and Cueto, or even maybe even throw a dart at Corbin. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, DraftKings, that's tough. The short slates are really tough on DraftKings.
I agree. I find myself very hesitant to play anything lower than a 5-game slate because of the 2-pitcher thing. Because I always try to get away from the chalk, and it's like so hard to find 2 pitchers that, more than 2 pitchers that you want to go in a 4-game slate.
Yeah, no, I agree. That's what I mean. FanDuel, it's obviously a lot easier, but all right. So St. Louis stack. I agree with you. I don't think I stack Cincy, but I think you can find a couple one-offs or a couple home runs here. Now, LA Detroit.
Dude,
Go ahead.
hold on. Did you see that Scott Schebler home run?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That ball, it dipped a little bit and then picked back up and went over the fence.
Caught in that jet
That's
stream.
Yeah, that park is crazy.
Ian Happ hit one out of. Oh, I'm sorry. Kyle Schwarber hit one out of the stadium in Chicago today. Not his home run. It was a foul ball, but still. Worth noting. Hold on. Okay, so LA and Detroit. Michael Fulmer, JC Ramirez. Detroit was a huge letdown today. I am going to go back at them tomorrow.
As far as
Same
playing
thing.
Detroit?
Yeah, stacking them.
Yeah, I mean, JC Ramirez coming off his worst start of the season, it looks like, in against Minnesota, which 7 earned runs on 8 hits, 3 homers. Still priced up a bit on DraftKings, it looks like. But I don't ever really want to throw him because he doesn't really have the K upside that I look for, and definitely not at Detroit. So definitely I feel you there. And then with Fulmer, getting an extra day of rest is worth noting. He was supposed to start yesterday. They felt like his innings count because he continues to get quality starts. Was a little high, so they wanted to do that. And he's kind of arguably coming off his worst start of the season as well. So I like Fulmer on this short slate. On FanDuel, it's kind of a tough call, I guess. What do you guys think?
I'm debating.
I'm going Cueto.
Yeah, I'm debating between Fulmer and Cueto. Fulmer obviously I think Fulmer's facing the worst team, but Cueto's facing a team that strikes out more, so I'd say Cueto's upside is higher. But
Yeah, I agree.
the downside is also much, much higher.
I agree.
So
Angels
Yeah.
been sneaky good against righties, though. Just be careful.
They have, man. They've been sneaky. I mean, again, like you said, they strike out very much, especially if you're comparing it to Milwaukee. But again, in Miller Park, we obviously see what they can do. Tame's got the day off today. Santana is hit another home run today. He's really hot. So
Alex Avila again tomorrow. I think I go back there, Mike, and then JD. So this is 2 days in a row he's done nothing, Theo. So surely tomorrow he's got to do everything, right? That trend.
He's gonna have a Rendon day tomorrow.
Bet.
yeah, Avila 3 home runs his last 5 games.
4 home runs tomorrow.
And continues to surprise people. We'll see how long this lasts, man.
Corey doesn't think
JD, Avila, and Upton.
Yo, Upton
stack.
is
eight
hot.
home runs.
Upton is hot.
That's 8 home runs tomorrow.
We'll see.
Upton's a very streaky hitter. Prices for those 2 guys on DraftKings on the short slate are, you got to be really into it. I mean, you can make the case that is the place to go if you're paying up. But like you said, if you want to pay for both top pitchers, Cueto and Fulmer, you're talking punting 3 guys if you're paying up for Martinez and Upton.
Yeah.
I have Cueto with Tigers, and I had to punt shortstop.
Yeah, we talk about punting that all the time, though. So that's easy.
Yeah, Arcia.
Yep. So San Fran and Milwaukee. Johnny Cueto, talked about him. Yanni Cueto is what I call him. And Paulo Espino. I don't know if we attack Espino. I mean, obviously there's not a ton of data on him. I believe he has, one or two starts? Two starts? One start.
This season, yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know if I necessarily want to stack, but Belt and Posey is an enticing two-man on this short slate. Posey hit another home run again today. I think Jeremy said he's got like a 15-game hit streak, and then Belt, we know his power potential.
Yep. I mean, this park definitely helps. Obviously, very big, very positive park shift against a, guy making a second career start. His first was in Chicago, and he only allowed 5 hits, 2 runs. So I wouldn't say it was a bad performance.
Not at all.
But it is San Francisco, so it could maybe be a punt play. I don't know, man.
Well, for what it's worth,
You need to.
For what it's worth, let's look at this handy data, Mike. The Giants,
Handy dandy.
over the last 3 games, not including today. Obviously, I have yesterday's because today's data hasn't updated. 5.3 runs, 50% higher than what they're doing on the season. Sorry, 5.33, 50% higher than what they're doing on the season. So maybe they're catching a little bit of a hot streak. They also, not surprisingly, hit a ton better on the road than they do at home in terms of runs scored per game. So
Looking up Espino's minor league data, dude, we have data on him since 2007. He's been in the minors a long time, which is not what you look for. Does have a 24% K rate in AAA this year, 9 starts. But yeah, I don't like when you see, 8 or 10 years of minor league data.
yeah. Theo, for what it's worth, I think something you got to look at with Fulmer. So he throws 3 pitches, your typical fastball, changeup, slider. There are literally 2 hitters on the entire Angels team that have positive scores versus any pitch he has, and it is Ben Revere and Cole Calhoun versus his slider. The entire team legitimately is below average versus the entire fastball and changeup.
I already saw that.
So Fulmer is interesting, whereas Cueto so his fastball is legit just average, his changeup is above average, and his slider is far and away his best pitch. The Brewers kill changeups and they kill sliders.
Right?
Yeah, it's definitely a GPP cash type thing. Fulmer is the cash play, I think.
Yeah. One guy I was looking at was Joe Panic.
We'll put you on him.
Yeah.
Those pitch type numbers.
Let's see. What is Joe Panic ranking at? So, Panic, wow, he hits the slider extremely well. And Polino throws that, only one start, 17% of the time. But interesting. He also hits the fastball average, and Polino's fastball was graded as below average. So.
Yeah. I needed to save money.
That's fair. I can see it as a punt.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't think I'm going to go there on FanDuel. DraftKings.
Well, he's 35 on DraftKings. It's a little harder to get to. Sogard will be leading off, I'd imagine, tomorrow. Actually, you know what? Do you think they put Jonathan Villar back in leadoff?
I think so.
I'd be surprised, man.
Dude, so we talked about him on that lock show today. 2,800 as a second baseman. Very worthy of that punt play. And I just had a gut feeling that moving back to the leadoff after being down in the 7 hole, I didn't necessarily expect a home run, but kind of gave him that boost, right? That energize of like, all right, I'm back. This is where I'm comfortable. And goes out, hits a home run, has a nice game. So I don't know if they would. Do you think they put him back down in the 7 hole tomorrow, Mike? I know obviously today he was facing a lefty, but
I don't know, man. There's something to be said about not even just moving up, just being shifted in the lineup to get your bat going. Like that happens all the time in baseball. They just shift people like, hey, be in your bat, you're in a big slump. Let's move you down or let's move you up. Let's just change something. So,
Carpenter today let off.
Right. So if it worked, I think from just like a watching baseball over the years perspective, like I don't think they change it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I would imagine he leads off again tomorrow.
Either way, he's actually the same price as Panic, second baseman, and Sogard, so
Yeah.
maybe that's the way to go, right in that area in this quick little 4-gamer.
And then for those of you on DraftKings, they might throw a 2-game in there on FanDuel later with the Giants and Padres game, but I can't say for sure yet. I do know this is included on the early in DraftKings. But Richard and Corbin. I mean, it's hard to get away from an Arizona stack right now.
Yeah. It is strange, though. The only 2 good games that Clayton Richards pitched this season have been against Arizona.
Yep.
He's been bad, but that's kind of weird because Arizona's been really good. So, I don't know. Do you buy into that?
Do I buy into him having good success for them, or?
Yeah, his only 2 good games this season have been against Arizona. You buy into maybe this team just can't see his stuff?
You know what? In a GPP, I don't think I'd have a problem fading Arizona because of the letdown factor and the history versus Richard, obviously, this year.
And he's an extreme ground ball pitcher, not somebody I usually stack against.
And hold on, let me check real quick because I think this matters. Arizona.
Look at that fly ball percentage.
Okay, never mind. I was wondering if Arizona was traveling tomorrow. They are not, because oftentimes getaway games, lesser lineups, teams not as focused. It's just something I've noticed in baseball. But they are saying
this is still in Arizona.
Yeah, they're in Arizona versus Milwaukee. I was looking at the day after, was tomorrow a getaway game?
Okay.
But it's not. They're on a homestand. So, I don't know. In cash, I think they're probably on GK. I think they're probably the chalk stack, maybe with Detroit. I don't know. I still think Arizona's chalkier than Detroit tomorrow.
I don't know. Does that fly ball percentage bother you though at all?
Not really, because the same thing with Perdomo. This team's not built to hit fly balls. You know what I mean? They're very much a line drive team, and if they can square them up and get hard contact, then it doesn't really matter if the ball's hit in the air. I mean, it does, but it does. You know what I mean? They're built for the line drive.
Yeah, it doesn't matter as much, especially if it's only a 2-game slate on FanDuel.
Exactly. I don't know, Theo. What do you think of this game, Arizona?
I attack Corbin. I don't like Diamondbacks. They haven't proven to hit lefties well all year. And obviously, like Mike said, Richard has had 2 good games against them already.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's definitely cause for concern.
What do you think? Hedges, Renfroe, 2-man?
Yeah. Throw in Myers.
Yeah.
Solarte had a good game today.
True. So I think you can definitely make the case to attack Corbin, and I don't think that will be as high owned as Arizona is.
Yep.
Yeah, I think Arizona's going to be bad chalk tomorrow.
Yeah, I wonder, just the letdown, you know what I mean? That it just feels like it's coming. But all right, on to the main. Well, actually, all right, let's do that little recap real quick. Give me 2 pitchers on the early you're playing and 2 you're attacking. Theo?
Fulmer, Price to play. Attack. Feldman.
No, on the early.
Yeah, that is early.
Price is
I
not
said
on
Price, huh? Cueto and Fulmer.
Okay. And then
attack Feldman. And I'll go with the Milwaukee pitcher.
Okay. Paulina. Or
Oh, wait. No. JC Ramirez. Duh. I'm stacking Tigers.
Mike, where are you going?
Yeah, I mean, I think if I'm playing this slate on DraftKings, I'm going to I'll probably try and get Cueto and Fulmer in, but I'm not going to be alone in that argument. So I think Espino is the punt that I would give a shot. I'll try Cueto or not Cueto, but I try Fulmer and Espino.
Okay. Hold on real quick, because I'm looking at this main. By the way, I'm Cueto, Fulmer, and attacking JC Ramirez and Feldman as well. David Price has not faced a left-handed batter this season. Wow.
So he's only had 2 starts.
Yeah, but still, not one left-handed bat in either start. I'm looking on Fangraphs right now, and I'm not seeing it either. I thought my numbers were wrong, but
he's played Baltimore and
Sox.
Chicago, right?
I guess Chicago's all switch hitting. Their lefties are switch hitters.
and they have Rickard for Seth Smith, and then
Yeah, okay, I guess.
Chris Davis.
Probably sat that day? I don't know.
Yeah, I guess so.
Whatever. Interesting, though. Had a really good start last time versus Baltimore. And I think against the Yankees tomorrow, who have not done as well versus lefties as they have versus righties this year, could be in play tomorrow. In Yankee Stadium, adrenaline rush.
Yeah, I think both these pitchers are in play. I like. Boston got shut up by CC today. Pineda obviously has got a big price drop on DraftKings after his last start in Toronto, but has elite stuff. Can easily be the best pitcher on the slate, and so can Price. I think. The Yankees, they're top 2 in almost every offensive category versus righties, and top 10, or I think they're 12. They're top 10 in OBP, top 12 in OPS, I think, versus lefty. So it's not like they're terrible, but they're like, if you're going to attack the Yankees, it should be with a lefty. And Price, can strike people out. He's got this big media storm behind him. I think he refuses to talk to the media now. He blew up at them today. So I don't know if that affects him negatively or positively. But I think there's that narrative to be warranted in this game. What do you guys think?
First of all, you know how
David Price is my guy.
I like Price as well. I think he'll be the pivot off of Pineda. I think everyone plays Pineda tomorrow. But I just got to say, do you know...
Really? Why? Against Boston?
Yeah, Pineda always seems to be high-owned because of the upside.
And he's a Yankee.
Yeah, you know how many Yankee
Maybe.
fans there are?
I don't know. I don't think either of these guys are going to be high on tomorrow because of the matchups in Yankee Stadium.
Well, who are your other pitchers? You have Cole and Volquez. No.
The Polars.
Ashers and Ross. Absolutely not. Asser.
Lester.
You got Odorizzi and Holland. That's blow up. Ben Lively and R.A. Dickey. Lester is, I guess, in play. And then McCullers is definitely in play. And then you got Bergman and Gibson. So, it's, in my opinion, it's McCullers, Pineda, Price as your top 3 pitchers, Mike. I don't see where else you go. Maybe.
Perhaps, man. I think Volquez is in play against Pittsburgh. In that park. I think Odorizzi's in play against the White Sox. Lester, like you said, I don't really like that matchup with Colorado, but lefties against Colorado, kind of the same deal with the Yankees. I think there's places to go. Maybe if that's chalk, maybe that's worthy pivots.
It's fair. Be interested to see. Would you attack either pitcher?
I guess full stack, probably not. Obviously, Pineda's got more blow-up potential, in my opinion, than Price.
I would agree with that. Theo, what do you think?
I'm playing David Price. I'm not playing no bats.
Complete bat fade on this game?
Yep.
Okay. Miami, Pittsburgh, Edison Volquez, Garrett Cole. What are we looking at here?
I like Pittsburgh.
I think you have to state the obvious. Edison Volquez, no-hitter in his last game versus, who was that, against Arizona?
Yep.
Was it?
Arizona has been, that's why we were talking, man. They've been bad versus righties. They went out and did
positive
everything
ballpark
today.
shifts. He hasn't looked bad. He's got 3 straight quality starts.
That's true.
4 out of his last 5 quality starts for Volquez. Pittsburgh, hasn't been bad either, but they're also coming from Baltimore, who does not have good pitching.
You know what it is, Mike?
Go ahead.
Volquez got that first win, and just everything was lifted off his shoulders.
Probably, man. That's definitely another narrative to buy into. And then you factor in the Garrett Cole thing, where Garrett Cole's already given up 15 home runs this year, which is 4 more homers than he's ever given up in a full season. When you see the ball going out of the ballpark like that as a pitcher, you gotta believe that's
Deflating.
Has a negative effect on your psyche, man. Especially in that ballpark, can't do it there. So lefties against Cole. I think Riddle's another good shortstop punt today. I punted him today. He got me double-digit DraftKings points at like super low ownership. D. Gordon is super hot. So I like some Miami bats today.
I'm with you. I'm looking at. I still think you can play Stanton. D. Gordon has been hot. His price dropped too. He went down to 2,900. That's interesting on FanDuel. That might end up being a lock for me on this main slate. Second baseman sub 3K.
Yeah,
dude,
I agree with that.
Have you guys seen Derek Dietrich? This dude is ripped. By the way, just side note, I was watching the game today. He's massive for a little guy. Like, he's little, but he's big. You know what I mean?
Kind of like Demetrius Johnson.
I don't know who that is, but... Oh, that's Mighty Mouse, huh?
Yeah, he's pissed today. Yeah, no, I could see you playing Garrett Cole against Miami, too, in this ballpark. Like, I could see both sides of that. I think that's a GPP play, man.
You think Garrett Cole has a little bounce back in him?
I mean, we've seen what he can do.
That is facts. So, all right. Baltimore and Washington. Now this is a game stack. Joe Ross is the worst fastball, or has the worst fastball on the entire slate, and he throws it 60% of the time. Stack.
He must think it's real good.
Washington might have to send him down if he doesn't correct something soon. He's been so bad this year. He had one good start, I believe. Other than that, he's been awful. I believe he has 4 pitches. Let me double check. He throws 3 pitches. I'm sorry. The one thing he has going for him is he does throw a slider 40% of the time. And that is average. So...
Yeah, last 2 starts were negative fantasy performances at Oakland versus San Diego. Can't do it. I mean, if you have negative performances against those 2 teams, you know.
That's what I'm saying, dude. I don't see how you
Machado
game stack
left the game today in the 4th inning. They brought in Ruben Tejada. You know, he's best known for his days with the Mets. So I would imagine that he gets the start tomorrow if Machado can't play. It's a recurring wrist injury. He re-injured it today, slotting into second, I believe. So look for that. That's obviously replacing a big bat with not a big bat.
If you can't make it on the Mets, I wouldn't be too excited.
He was actually, the Yankees let him go. When they brought Gleyber Torres up to AAA, they let him go.
I don't know why they would let him go for Gleyber Torres.
They didn't let him go for Gleyber Torres. They decided to release him, and the Orioles gave Yanks some cash for him.
I'm playing, Mike. I'm playing. I know Gleyber Torres.
Gleyber Torres.
I was gonna say that's like your guys' golden child. I already know. Like once he comes up, Aaron Judge is no longer relevant in Yankee land. I already know that.
That's right.
God, we're gonna have to hear even more, Theo.
Brian Cashman's the GOAT, man.
I don't even want to see Ho-Ho.
Baltimore stack, Seth Smith. I love that play tomorrow. Chris Davis, 3,900. Adam Jones, I like that as well at 3,100.
Super cheap.
Yeah.
I know.
Hey, great call.
Nationals, everybody.
Great call on Ryan Zimmerman today, Mike, in that early slate. The
one-off, right?
Yep.
That was strictly based off BBP, by the way. Kershaw is one of the only pitchers that I look at BBP for besides
Knuckleballers.
Besides knuckleballers, yeah.
Just because he's so dominant.
Yeah, he's got. Again, you talk about psyche in baseball. People see Kershaw on the mound and they get feeling some type of way.
Truth. What are we looking at with Derek Holland tomorrow? Josh actually mentioned him already as a possible GPP play because of his performance versus lefties. He's yet to give up a home run this year versus lefties, and he's striking them out at a 25% clip. Now, Derek Holland has not been good overall, and he's in fact been large amounts of bad versus righties. But this Tampa team is the power is all lefties, and the guys that are power on the right hand side, namely Tim Beckham and Steven Souza.
Souza, yeah.
I mean, Souza's the one guy that worries me, but Tim Beckham is a huge reverse splits guy. Doesn't hit lefties well. Logan Morrison does hit lefties, but I was going to.
Longoria's having a terrible year, probably worst of his career.
Yeah, so can you look at Holland tomorrow, Mike? Is that someone you're considering on DraftKings? I'm not on FanDuel, but DraftKings is.
I think both these guys are GPP plays. I mean, both these teams are pretty bad. You look up and down this lineup. I think Chicago is definitely really bad. It's just that Tampa Bay is in play against lefties because of how much they strike out, and like you said, there really isn't any power behind the righty bats. So, I think both these plays are definitely in consideration for me. I don't know that I could say I love one over the other though.
Theo, would you play either on FanDuel?
No.
Would you rather play Edison Volquez or Jake Odorizzi?
Edison Volquez. And that's not with recency bias. I just think.
Odorizzi.
Yeah, Chicago's been bad, but I don't know. Just with not even taking away the perfect or no hitter, I just think that Edison Volquez. I really think that getting that win is really lifted something off his shoulders, and he's performing a lot better. I think he's not he's not pressing now when he's going out there.
He's got to have some confidence after a no-hitter against Arizona. So, yeah, I agree with that.
Truth.
I just fear the Pirates more than I fear the White Sox.
Yeah, that's true. That's true too.
That's fair. Ben Lively pitched really, really well. Shout out to Clint, man, and River. This dude is a prospect addict. Like this, he loves scouting prospects and kind of seeing how they do. And he put a couple guys in the group onto Lively as a SP2 option in DraftKings and even a possible GPP option in FanDuel. And he went out and pitched really well. I believe he got the win as well against Cueto.
Yeah, he outdueled Cueto in that game. Yep. He didn't strike anybody out though, which is kind of concerning from a DFS perspective. But it was San Francisco. It doesn't really strike out much. At Atlanta, again, I'm not touching the pitchers.
That's fair. Matt Adams stays hot and stays cheap on FanDuel, 2,700. Dansby Swanson finally hit a home run today. Not fine. I mean, he's hit one before, but he's been kind of cold. Enciarte's consistent. Kemp. I mean, all these guys are in play. And then Odubel Herrera, I believe, has 5 straight games with a double. Told you guys last day, you're going to get him below 3K, and he's 3,100 now. Michael Saunders is still cheap if he plays. Freddie Galvis, I think, is a cheap shortstop option. And then Cesar Hernandez is still 3,100. And Aaron Altier is down to 32 on FanDuel.
Yep. Well said. I mean, they got to get Swanson out of that 8-hole, man. I don't know why they're putting a rookie in the 8-hole in the NL. Like, dude, how are you supposed to get somebody's bat going?
Exactly. It was so
doesn't
funny.
Make any sense, man.
Even the Braves announcers were talking about that on the
really?
show the other day or on their the game. They were like, I really don't understand why they're bad. For a guy that you're trying to get going, you wouldn't put a rookie hitter in the 8th spot. Like, swap them right on the days Suzuki hits on the 7th hole. Suzuki knows how to deal. He's been around, whatever. But Swanson, he's not going to get anything good to hit in the 8th hole right behind or right in front of a pitcher.
Nope. Oh yeah, I was watching that game. They wanted him to go back and hit in 2-hole.
2 or even 7. Switch Kurt Suzuki and Swanson. Just get him out of the 8-hole.
No, on the broadcast, they're like, put him back in the 2-hole.
Yeah. So
well, maybe this is the game that gets him going. I mean, he's got the pedigree. I mean, this guy's a highly touted guy. So 3 hits today, home run, 3 runs. So one of the top scoring hitters on the slate.
For what it's worth, the Braves still won that trade with the Diamondbacks because if nothing else, they got Enciarte and the Diamondbacks have Shelby Miller on the DL.
Oh yeah, they most definitely won that trade.
That might be one of the worst trades I've seen in a long time.
Enciarte continues to put up double-digit fantasy points on DraftKings once again. And he got caught stealing today, but the fact that he's continuing to run, he's already on pace to significantly outperform his stolen base totals from last year, from the last 2 years when he was a full-time hitter.
What do you think about stacking against Dickey, Mike? I mentioned some Philly bats, but
Yeah, no, I think it's a good idea.
in this ballpark, yeah, I just don't see a lot of upside for Dickey. He's having arguably the worst uh, season of his career.
Yeah. Generally speaking, I don't like playing young teams like the Phillies against a knuckleballer, but maybe I'm just a little naive in a sense. Maybe I'm thinking too much into that. I mean, these guys are professionals.
It's still Dickey.
Yeah. But you know what I'm saying, though? Like,
I do. I mean,
Doesn't Dickey have a Cy Young though?
that was 1 year.
He does. He does have a Cy Young, yes.
I know you don't really think Dickey's a Cy Young pitcher right now.
That season tarnished the credibility of the Cy Young award.
I think last year was Rick Porcello didn't do it any favors either.
God, he's so bad. I still remember. I really wish I knew who it was. I wish I knew their YouTube handle. Dude came in here I think it was opening day, and we said don't pitch Porcello. He was least deserving of the Cy Young award, and he got mad at me and was cussing me out and said that Porcello was better than Verlander, very well deserving, and that he is the best. He was one of the best DFS plays, and he was going to continue.
Wow.
He was going to continue to pitch him all year because of last season, and I disagreed.
That really got under your skin.
I just wish I knew who it was because I
remember that. I think he also said Jay Happ is the best pitcher on the Blue Jays.
Dickey has a whip of 1.62. That's walks plus hits per inning pitched, so close to 2 base runners an inning. Not what you want.
Where are you?
Combine.
Sorry, go ahead.
Combine that with a total of 30 strikeouts in 65 innings. So,
where are you at with this game, Mike? Colorado and Chicago. I mentioned Schwarber. I'd imagine he's going to hit in that 9 spot again. He gets a righty. Chatwood, if he's had a weakness, well, I mean, he's had some weaknesses this year, but he's been giving up some home runs to righties. Or to lefties, I'm sorry. And Schwarber's hot. And he's cheap. I just don't know how you don't play Schwarber tomorrow if he's, again, there. And if Happ leads off again.
Already.
Mm-hmm. If Happ leads off again, I'm going to go right back to that 2-man stack. And then I can afford to get Rizzo, honestly.
Look at this, man. Schwarber's already $3,900. It's an $800 price jump.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, dude. DraftKings
on DK.
They up that price like crazy, and then FanDuel's like, nah, we'll chill.
I mean, again, it just goes to show how much you really should value recent performance, whether it's a 3-game sample, a week-long sample, a month-long sample. I think it's a really important thing in baseball. People go through streaks all the time. I don't know. I kind of could see this being a game stack. I mean, I know Lester's got a lot of green up there, can strike out a ton, and I think he might even be a good GPP play on the slate, but I could see it going the other way with these hot Colorado bats in Chicago.
That's fair. I'm all over. Well, you know what? Colorado really hasn't hit lefties that well this year, and away from Coors in Chicago. A lot of it's going to depend on the wind again, but I think Lester's a viable option on this slate.
I just like the prices of these guys on Colorado on DraftKings, man. If you look at their price relative to FanDuel, it's nice. I mean, that Story under 4K. Blackman is only $3 more expensive on DK.
Reynolds only 200 more. Gonzalez only 200 more.
Right, so that's what's kind of tempting to me.
I'm with you. I mean, Lester's shown the ability to get blown up, but I still don't think I don't view him as the guy I want to attack on a slate with Alec Asher and Joe Ross.
Yeah, definitely not starting my lines there, but I could see myself getting 1 or 2.
Lance McCullers and Jason Hamill. So I've already hit the lock button on Lance McCullers. I know.
I mean, worthy play.
Ideally, you wouldn't want to throw a pitcher. I mean, you can. I've done it before 100% of the time because if he blows up, all your lines are pretty much sunk. But yeah, I'm doing it. I got 100% McCullers, and I as of right now, I mean, things can change overnight, but I don't see myself getting off of it right so far.
I'm half McCullers, half Price.
Yeah, I know you love Price.
It's fair. I mean, both are extremely good strikeout hitters. I mean, coming off his worst performance of the season. Didn't make it through 5 innings in Texas, but he still struck out 8 batters. So that's what you want to see from a DFS perspective. I mean, also he really is not giving up home runs. Only 6 in the entire season. So, we talk about it a lot with these strikeout pitchers. They do make a lot of mistakes, but this guy really keeping the ball in the park, especially pitching, with his home park being in Houston. That is pretty impressive to see that he's only given up 6 home runs this season.
Also,
most definitely the lock of the slate.
Also, I know there was a lot of concern coming into this year about McCullers' road numbers. I think he silenced that.
Yeah, again, it was a very small sample. He's got elite stuff, man.
MLB The Show's
Is MLB The Show?
Yeah, they're going to have to update their home badges, Theo.
I'll check on that tomorrow.
Dude's got a crazy good... He's got a hard... I don't know if you call it a hard slider or a hard curveball, but like his off-speed pitch is still like an 86-mile-an-hour pitch, like 3-pitch pitcher that's just been dominating the league.
Yeah,
just call it a slurve.
A slurve.
Yeah, it's like a hard slider is probably what I would call it, but who knows what it's really called.
And then you have Jason Hamill, who gets destroyed by righties, reverse split guy, and you have a lot of righties on Houston, man. Evan Gattis, if he plays tomorrow, I'm on that. 3,200 for him as a catcher, love it. Yuli Gurriel hits righties a lot better than lefties so far this year, and that plays right into what Hamill does. I think I can lock that in at first base, and then George Springer and Carlos Correa, and Altuve's down to 3,800 on FanDuel for second baseman. That's intriguing.
And you've got Reddick.
I don't want to...
Beltran.
I mean, yeah, I was looking at the righties versus Hamill because of the splits. But you can definitely play Reddick and Beltran. I love the righties, man. I love Gurriel, Gattis, Altuve, and Springer. I think if I'm going to play a Houston stack, those would be my 4, if they play.
Yeah, I usually would say look at the hot bats, but this entire team is a hot bat. So look at Houston. Dude, and a caution, like, if you decide to stack Houston against Hamill, be prepared for an extremely frustrating game. This guy pitches so desperately slow. It's impossible to watch, man. I hate watching Hamill pitch because I've stacked against him so many times that I have that game on. I'm like, dude, throw the ball. Like if you're an outfielder with that guy on the mound, you have to just be pissed. Like, can you imagine be like, come on.
They just don't do anything, yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta get cold feet.
I don't know.
Or stone feet, cement feet, whatever the hell it's called.
I don't know. Trust me, it's ridiculous.
And then Minnesota and Seattle, both blow-upable pitchers. And Mike Zunino stays hot, Theo.
Mariners.
Dude, they have been hot over the last 3, 4, 5 days. They're playing a pitcher that is going to fit right into that strategy. Yeah. So, Zunino, I look at Kyle Seager, who has hit a home run, I believe, in 2 straight days. Danny Valencia had a bad game today, but still hot. And then Robinson Cano has been swinging the bat a little better. And we know Mariners hit righties much better than lefties.
I also like Heredia, who hits breaking balls really well.
Yes, he does. Yeah, I mentioned that last night. He didn't do well for me today, but
they early might.
It's all good. We got to go right back, man. I think Seager at his price on DraftKings is definitely gonna be some chalk. Kind of reminded me of the Dozier play today, where he was only 3,600 in a good spot. So I would think this is definitely a game stack. Probably one of my favorite games on the entire slate. Bergman has looked good at times this season. But I don't really think he's a good pitcher. What do you think, Theo? Have you been watching him pitch at all?
He's not. I'd say he's quadruple A pitcher.
Yeah, I could second that sentiment. I think Kyle Gibson is really only a minute in on a major league team because this Minnesota pitching staff is really bad. Which is a shame because I think if they had a solid pitching staff, they would be competing in that division because they've got a legit lineup, man.
Price factored in, Mike. Cruz or Seager tomorrow? I'm sorry, not Cruz. Sano or Seager, both third base. Price factored in.
I'll go Seager.
Theo?
Seager, just because I know Safeco is known to destroy righty power.
Yeah, I also would go Seager. You save $700 on FanDuel, $1,000 on DraftKings, and
Sano's always a good play. I played him today. Worked out well.
he is. I just think, with Seager being hot and getting a righty matchup.
And this is about the time that Seager gets hot every year. Middle of June, all the way through like August.
I would rather stack Cano and Seager than Dozier and Sano. It's almost the same price on DraftKings. It's almost the same price for both those two men.
Yeah, it's much cheaper on FanDuel just because of the price difference between Sano and Seager. But yeah, I think I would also sentiment that. So, all right. Let's do that recap thing for the main. So, Theo, 3 pitchers you're pitching, and 3 you're attacking.
Pitching, David Price, Lance McCullers, John Lester. Attack, both pitchers in the Washington-Baltimore game, and Kyle Gibson.
Mike?
Yep. I'm going to attack Jason Hamill, Kyle Gibson, and both pitchers in the Philly-Atlanta game. I don't know. I think I'll say Dickey. And then I want to pitch McCullers, and then I want to pitch Volquez, and I want to pitch Pineda.
Okay. I'm on the same thing that Theo is. Price, well, McCullers 1, Price 2, Lester 3. And then the pitchers I'm attacking, Gibson, I'm gonna go right back there. He might be my favorite pitcher to attack. Joe Ross is 2, and yeah, I think I'm gonna attack Dickey with you, Mike, and go with some cheap Philly bats.
Yeah, I mean, can you punt any pitchers tomorrow on this main slate? I know we all kind of said high price options, so I guess if you're thinking on DraftKings about punting someone,
Volquez is only 76 on FanDuel. I think that's punt worthy if that's puntish. Derek Holland, I think, is someone you can consider against Tampa Bay.
Right, I think that's the guy under 7K on DraftKings.
And then I think that's it, right? I mean, I guess maybe Odorizzi as well. I think I'm fading this entire game for bats, Chicago and Tampa.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, Holland is $1,300 cheaper than Odorizzi, so
I would go
think
Holland.
if you're talking punt, yeah.
Sounds good to me. Theo, would you punt any pitcher?
I don't do that anymore.
Yeah, I really don't either, guys. I really don't. Especially in tournaments. Maybe in cash I could see that. I mean, today it worked out, though, so we'll keep an eye on it. We'll keep telling you guys off the top who the top pitchers were, so you guys can also kind of make a note and build your own opinions.
Yeah, true. So, all right. Well, have a wonderful night or day, depending on when you're listening to this. Thank you again for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow, of course, doing the pre-lock show for the River Group. Theo, you're going to be joining that as well?
No, I'm working.
All right, Theo won't
I
be joining.
have to go to work.
But me and Mike will be back, maybe Jeremy, and we'll be breaking down our final thoughts on the slate, lock and change, and then, of course, if you guys are interested, of course, that 7-day free trial, no risk, get everything, and then all the sheets, all the data, and access to the River Group. So that's it, man. Have a wonderful night, guys, and good luck.
Good luck.